Some days, the safest thing we do is stay wrapped up and just breathe. I know you want to matter. And yet, being seen can also be scary at the same time. Today, our space isn't about pulling the blanket completely off of you, running out there and going, "Wah," and being seen in the world. But it's just to simply know that we're peeking out from that cover, feeling that safe space inside of it and the amazing blessing that's underneath the cover. So just breathe. There's no rush, no push. I'm just simply here to provide presence for you and allow you to really begin to contemplate safety in a new way and know that you're being called to be seen. Hi, my name's Steve Kidd. I am a third-generation minister, international best-selling author of 39 books and counting. I help folks write, publish, market their books to bestseller, and everything that goes beyond that. We've been a marketing company for nearly 40 years now, and what we really do is we're here to help you know what it means to be visible and valuable, to find that powerful clarity that allows you the capability to really truly show up as the best version of you today and do the things that only you can do, to make the mark in this world that only you can make, to be the person in this world that only you can be. Somebody's waiting on you. Somebody's needed who you are today, last week, last month, last year. And they're going to continue to need it until you step up, until you're available, until the world knows who you are, what you're doing, and just how incredibly amazing you truly are. And I hope today you can just peek out from the covers, see the possibility of that, and then feel the power underneath of that cover, that you that is you, and truly be able to do the things that only you can do. I know you want clarity. And I know, oh, too well, how incredibly overbearingly burdensome, if you will, the weight of the gift, the treasure, that thing burning inside of you is, that you want to get out. But I also know just how scary out can be. And so again, I want to reiterate, I'm not here today to yank the covers off of you, throw cold water on you, throw you out of the bed, slam you up on stage and tell you 1, 2, 3, go. Some of us are speakers at the level where we say, hey, stick a mic in front of my face and tell me what you want me to talk about and let's go for it. But that isn't normally the case. Most people, there is a fear. Let me pull back the curtain for you just a little bit. I don't care whether you're talking Tony Robbins, Oprah Winfrey, a minister slash, high-end marketer like John Maxwell. It doesn't matter really who the person is. There is that moment. And I want you to feel this moment because it's important, that happens just before you go live, just before you step on stage. There's that less than, that imposter syndrome, that energy drain, all of those kind of things. They happen every single time. I wouldn't ever want to go live, go on stage, whatever that might be, without a moment where I had to recenter myself, where I had to take that breath, engage with and embrace the calling and the need, and embrace you and what you're here for and what you need. Because without it, number one, and I've been on stage a few times when I didn't have that, and everything I can tell you from experience, everything goes as bad as you could possibly conceive them. That little hit of what we falsely call humility, that's not really what the word humble really means or what humility really is, but that reality check of who am I, it keeps us grounded. Without it, we fall into arrogance and, a type of self-esteem that isn't good, that doesn't serve us or the world. But with it, it allows us to check ourselves. Secondarily, if you want to, if you've ever followed anything Tony Robbins talks about, it allows us to check our state. Tony's always talking about state. What is your state? Where are you? What place can you put yourself in? And he's spent literally decades teaching people that it's as much about the state you put yourself in and doing the things. Way back, way back in the day, Tony actually helped people improve their marksmanship scores by meeting with the greatest marksmen in the world and learning the state, learning the things that they did. How did they breathe? What did they think? What did they visualize? What were the specific, exact thoughts, feelings, and then actions that they did? And then bringing that to a brand new person and teaching them how to be first in that place, in that state, this is how I use my breath. This is how I hold my body. These are the thoughts I allow into my mind. There's an old saying that says, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Yeah, you can close your eyes, squeeze the trigger, and hope that you hit something. You could even get lucky and not only just hit the target, you could hit a bullseye, but it's not repeatable. Because the next time you squeeze your eyes and you pull the trigger, you might, not only miss the target, you might hit somebody else. That's just the way it is. And so that moment before, we take the time and we breathe and we look at it. And today is one of those kind of moments. We're actually a step before putting yourself in this state to get on stage, and we won't even get to that place this week. Because right now I want to acknowledge the things that we do to keep ourselves safe. And we talked a lot about it yesterday, about, even as little children and our blankie and our comfort and the things that keep us feeling as though we're safe, even though, if there really was a monster in your closet, what can the blanket really actually do to keep you safe? And yet it made you feel strong and powerful. Remember, yesterday I talked about Super Grover. And yes, Super Grover says, even if your mom makes you a superhero costume, you cannot fly because there's only one Super Grover. But in this particular case, you can. And you tie your security blankie around your neck and you jump and you do fly and your mind soars to places. But you still have that security blankie with you. And right now we want to stay in that place. And from there, just kind of, I should have brought a blanket with me for this whole entire talk. I don't know that I have that kind of a blankie anymore. My mom had made me a quilt and I used it for a couple of decades, until the point where it was just not repairable anymore. And I should have boxed it up and put it in plastic and put it in some kind of place and just kept it forever because it really did mean that much to me. But I didn't. It's the disadvantage of moving is that certain things become less important to move. But we take that moment and we just pull the blankie down just enough. Like I'll use this piece of paper. All right. Just looking around. Okay. Don't even have to pull your mouth, Hopefully you guys can still hear me on the mic. Just kind of look around a little bit. That's the state I want you to think of yourself today. Because in that place, we're making a transition. We're choosing to want to find our clarity. And we're moving from hiding to healing. Before we can help anybody else in the world, we have to help ourselves. Like when you're on the plane, and they teach you, you got to put the oxygen mask on yourself first and then help the small child next to you. Because what ends up happening is, and every mommy will tell you this, most good daddies will too, your natural inclination, if the oxygen mask drops from the ceiling, is to immediately turn to your child and help them, even if it costs you your life. And having the capability to reach up, put on your own mask, and then reach over and help your child, help the person next to you. That's a hard skill to learn. Most of us don't have problems reaching out and helping each other. Helping that person next to us is easy. It's the fact that we end up dying of oxygen, being oxygen deprived to the point of passing out because we helped everybody else and we didn't put the mask on ourselves first. Whereas when we move from hiding to healing, we now are developing ourselves. We're breathing in that oxygen. We're learning how to really show up and how to live. That's part of why I'm constantly encouraging you. Pick up the phone, say something like, "Hi, my name is," and what I'd really love to talk to you about today is, or if you want the advanced version, "Hi, my name is, what I do is," and what I'd really like to talk to you about today is. And then you just talk to them. 5 seconds, 5 hours, doesn't matter. Because right now, we're just developing clarity. We're just moving from hiding to healing. We're willing to, and even if it's just that level, right? We're willing to begin to be seen, to be heard, to be known. It can be a whisper. You could be like, I'm going to use my paper again here. "Hi, my name is," and what I'd really like to tell you today is. Now, I don't know if you could even hear that. I could hear it bouncing off the paper with my ears because it echoed it right off of the paper into my ears. You could be at that level. And if everybody comes on your live and says, "We can't hear you," say good, right? It's really not about them at this point. It is. But right now, we need to move from in the bed, covers over our head, to just peeking. Yeah, I really did need to have a blanket with me with this whole thing, wasn't it? I need you to feel that. Can you just pull the cover down just a little bit? Just down, just over the bridge of your nose. Okay, let's just see your beautiful eyes. Just a little bit. Somebody should do that today. Somebody should go live. I may even do that myself. I've got a mask here actually on my desk that my daughter made for me back during COVID. My daughter and her mother-in-law made masks. I've got it right here. And I should should do a live just like that. Here's the mask. I've got it here. I should just do the whole live just like that, and have the camera so that, I wonder if I can come up far enough. Have it so you can't even tell that it's a mask. You just see just my eyes and just the top of my head. Maybe that's the level you're at with your lives. Just show people your beautiful eyes and say, hey, here we are. It's just a peek. We spent an entire week on the cliff edge talking about our wings. And then on Saturday, we finally jumped and soared. But I'm pulling back for you because I know a lot of you still didn't leap. Sorry, saw ya. Still standing on the edge, holding on to your whoopee. I keep using that phrase and I keep wondering, do people still remember Mr. Mom from 1984? Your safety blanket. Like Linus with his blanket. Linus did some pretty amazing things with that blanket if you think back of all of the cartoons. But it was always there. And that's okay. We're not talking about naked and afraid and running naked in the streets yet. Right now, we're just peeking. Just showing our eyes. Looking around at the world. Seeing what we can do. Because the real shield isn't and never was the blanket. Truth. Truth is what your shield is. Your truth, your clarity, your heart to connect. Those are your shield. People will connect with you when they feel you wanting to connect with them. There's an old phrase that we used to teach in sales all the time that's really not been said enough and really needs to come back to the forefront of everything that we do in all of our business, but especially in this social media life. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. A person will do anything you ask them if they can understand and buy into the why. We often look back at times across history and probably, we could use current events now. You look at college campuses and people protesting things that for many of us, it's like, how did you, and it doesn't matter which side of the coin you're on in that, whatever the other side is protesting for, those of us that aren't on that side are going to be like, how could somebody stand up for that? When we go back to the country of Germany and the rise of Hitler in Germany, and why were the people, for the most part, I was so blessed in high school, my German teacher, I took German 3 years out of my 4 years of high school. My German teacher actually lived in Berlin. She was a teenager and a young adult. She turned 18 or 19 in 1945. Okay. Was working her first job at the end of World War II, living and working in Berlin. I'll never forget it. She said, it will totally change your worldview. When you go to church on Sunday, and when you come back the next week, the building has been bombed into non-existence. She goes, you will look at the world differently from then on out. There's just no way not to. But she also helped us understand because, in the U.S., especially if you go back into the 60s and the 70s, and even still in the 80s when I was in high school, there was a lot of, how could everybody in Germany, how could any of them ever bought into that kind of feeling with it? And she really helped us understand, what was going on in the minds because people understood or believed they did the why. The end, historically speaking, and again, history is just history, it's just informational. The end of World War I left the economy of Germany in such a tattered ruin that the only way out was for somebody like a Hitler to come to power and make them have to claim things that weren't their own in order for the country to survive. And it's in the truth. It's in that connection where we really find our shield and our protection. It's not the hiding that keeps us safe. In fact, if anything, the hiding reiterates that fear. We stay under that blanket and nothing changes under that blanket. We're just there, hidden, and running over and over and over in our minds with no feedback, no likes, no comments, no nothing. And it gets worse and worse and worse, and it snowballs. Like you take a snowball. Have you ever made a snowman? Some of you live in climates where you've made a snowman. You start off with a little tiny snowball, and you form it up in your hands, and then you put it down on the ground, and you're just kind of rolling it around, and you're just pretty well putting snow on it. And then eventually you can roll it just a little bit. And at first, depending on the snow quality, but good packing snow, at first it packs, it rolls on the top of the snow, and it just picks up just a little bit. And then you roll it a little bit more, and you got to roll it kind of around, because if you just roll in one section, it becomes, like a tube versus a round ball. Advanced Snowman Making 101. That's what we're talking about today. But eventually it gets to the place where, it's taking up part of, and again, it depends on how deep the snow is, part of the snow. So not just the surface covering, but, a real portion of the snow. And then it gets a little heavier, and it gets to the point where you're leaving a trail of just grass. And then sometimes at that point, if the leaves weren't raked in the yard, you're picking up leaves with the snowball, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's what happens under that cover. All those doubts, all those feelers, all those questions, they just keep snowballing bigger and bigger and bigger. But when we pull it down just a little bit and we begin to peak, when we get to our place, we can then begin to actually see just how little of a shield that really was. See, it wasn't the blanket that was covering you, that was keeping you safe. It wasn't hiding that was your shield. It was the grace, that mercy that met you in the dark, that's kept you safe, even in the worst of all circumstances. Now, when we're peeking out, then we start asking questions like, maybe I am ready. What if I could do this? What about? How about? Going back to Dr. Noah St. John's Affirmations book, your brain is a wonderful computer that wants to give you answers. What if we ask our mind the question of, what if I could do it? What would it look like if I did go ahead and do it? What could be all of the good things that could come from me dropping the word clarity and working with Steve and getting clear, from just picking up my phone and going live? Because all of the other things that go through your head, they're not real. Your message isn't messy. It may need to be organized, but more than anything, what it's really waiting, do that with me. Breathe. If you've got a blanket or a mask near you, do it again. Do it just like this. Go. You can still breathe from that safety. But I encourage you, DM the word clarity or the word seen. Message me. Let me know that you're ready to take that breath, to peek your eyes out, Just be seen a little bit. I'm not here to create pressure on you. I'm not here to yank the blankie from you. I'm just here to give you presence. To be here with a big smile, to tell you how amazing you are, and encourage you to just peek out, to just move from completely unseen and hiding where you think you're safe, whether you are or not, to just peeking your eyes out. Stay wrapped up if you need to, but just know when you're ready to move on, you don't have to walk alone. I'm here for you. I want to be able to help you. I was made, created, born to be here for you, to help you get that clarity, to take the heartbeat that you have to connect with people. Do it consistently with a clarity that we can bring together. Join us in Visibility Amplifier Community. Visibilityamplifier.com will take you there. Drop the word seen in the comments. Drop the word clarity in the comments, either one of those. And let us know that you're here and you're ready to even just think about, even if you can't get to here yet, okay, even if you're still here, if you're just ready to even think about it, drop the word clarity. Put it in a DM if you're afraid to let the whole world know and you want to just start a really gentle conversation, just you and I. That's fine. Let's do it. Let's move that direction together. Because you're incredible. You're amazing. You've got this. I believe in you. And I would be honored to help you have the visibility and the clarity that you were born for. And thanks for doing it. Till we're together again next time, I hope you have a great week.